அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். ஓகே, இன்றைக்கி வந்து நம்ம வந்து சீக்ரெட் ஸ்டாச்சுஸ் இன் த ஹிந்துஸ் அப்படின்ற ஒரு ஆர்ட் எக்ஸிபிஷனுக்கு தான் வந்திருக்கோம். as யூஷுவல் நம்ம அடிக்கடி வர ஒரே இடம் தான் ArtVoice Gallery. ஸோ உங்களுக்கெல்லாம் தெரியும், இது வந்து 28 கோயில் ஹிலிர் செந்தூல் இந்த சாலையில் தான் இருக்குது. ஸோ இன்றைக்கி இந்த இடத்துல பார்த்திங்கன்னா வந்து இந்து கோயில்களோட ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ஸ், அதாவது பில்டிங்ஸ் வந்து எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்றத வந்து அவ்வளோ அழகாக தத்ரூபமாக வரைஞ்சிருக்காங்க. ஸோ இன்றைக்கி வந்து இந்த ஆர்ட்வாய்ஸில் வந்து பார்த்திங்கன்னா மொத்தம் 73 பெயிண்டிங்ஸ் இருக்குது. மொத்தம் 9 ஆர்டிஸ்ட் வந்து அவங்களோட படைப்புகளை வந்து இங்கே வந்து எக்ஸிபிஷனுக்காக வச்சுருக்காங்க. ஸோ இந்த எக்ஸிபிஷன்லாம் பார்த்திங்கன்னா சார் ஓகே, இவரோட கொலெக்ஷன், அதாவது இவரோட வந்து பர்சனல் கொலெக்ஷன் கடந்த 18 வருடங்களாக வந்து இவர் வந்து இதை வந்து கொலெக்ஷன் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்காங்க. ஸோ அதை அவர் எப்படி கொலெக்ட் பண்ணார், எப்படி வந்து இந்த ஆர்டிஸ்ட்லாம் வந்து இதை வரைய வச்சார் அப்படின்ற விஷயங்கள், ஸோ இங்கே என்னென்ன இருக்குது அப்படின்றதையும் நம்ம கொஞ்சம் நேரம் பார்க்கலாம். வணக்கம் சார்.
Okay, welcome, Tansri. How are you? Just getting the media coverage here. Okay. So let's go that you're coming. So come. Yeah. In the meantime, you can actually see what kind of happening here.
ஸோ இப்போ வந்து இது வந்து கிரவுண்ட் ஃப்ளோர். கிரவுண்ட் ஃப்ளோர்னு பார்க்கும்போது இங்கே வந்து மலேசியாவில் உள்ள சில புகழ்பெற்ற ஆலயங்களோட ஆலயங்களோட என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, ஆர்ட்ஸ் இருக்குது. ஸோ இது வந்து நம்ம ஒரு ரவுண்ட் அப்படியே பார்த்துருவோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து ஆக்சுவலி இங்கே வந்து விசிட்டர்ஸும் வந்துட்டுருக்காங்க. அதனால சார் வந்து கொஞ்சம் பிஸியாக அவங்களுக்கு வந்து எக்ஸ்ப்ளனேஷன், அவங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த இடத்த சுற்றி காட்டி அது இங்கே என்னென்ன விஷயங்கள்லாம் வச்சுருக்காங்க அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் வந்து காமிச்சு பேசிகிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ இப்போ வந்து நம்மளோட விஐபி கெஸ்ட் வந்திருக்காங்க. இந்த முன்னாள் பேங்க்னிக்காரோட பிரசிடெண்ட்டாக இருந்தவர். ஸோ இதெல்லாம் வந்து சில கடவுள்களோட, அதாவது மலேசியா, வியட்நாம், தாய்லாந்து, ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இடத்துல உள்ள கடவுள்களோட சிலைகளோட வடிவங்களை வரைஞ்சிட்ருக்காங்க. ஓகே சார், குட் மார்னிங்.
Morning.
Okay, we have so many paintings here.
Yes, this is basically, the exhibition is titled Sacred Structures in the Hindu Diaspora. In this particular exhibition, there are 75 works by 9 Malaysian artists, right, and of Hindu temples in 9 countries. This exhibition, the collection of this exhibition is part of a larger collection of mine called the Sacred Structures Collection, which has involved 16 artists, and the total number of works in this collection are 414. I have been putting together this collection for the last 18 years. I started in 2004, firstly with temples in Malaysia and Singapore, then going into Southeast Asia, and the most recent was of course temples in England. Right? I've had this is my 6th exhibition. The first exhibition was in Pandas, the second exhibition in the Penang State Art Gallery, then followed by an exhibition in the Indian Cultural Center, then in the Asian Art Museum, then before this, most recently is 2017 at the National Art Gallery. I've been trying to have exhibitions every 3 years, but so the most recent was 2017, and then we had COVID-19, and now hence this exhibition. But I'm very glad that I have space for ArtVoice Gallery. I'm Prof.Dr.Krishna Gopal Rampal. I'm from the University of Jalan, Malaysia. And this collection is a collection of both mine and my wife's effort putting it together. Let me take you around this exhibition. These are actually, there are works in this exhibition by 9 artists. And the way this collection was put together was, I left the artists their own style to do and whatever medium that they would use to comfortable with. So like Chong Han Fat mainly does works on water, on oil and canvas, and he's based in Penang, the Chong Han Fat. Was given a retrospective at the Pandas State Gallery a few years ago. This is Jalan Temple in Penang, in India. This is Subramanian Temple in Sumatani, all in canvas. Then there are actually interesting works here, very thick Astro style of Italy. And this is of course Adizura Temple in Sentul, Entamizh Temple in Jalan, and of course the favorite of all, Batu Caves, Subramanian Temple in Batu Caves. And these three works are interviewed. He does a very thick impasto kind of style of works, and he contributes to that. Then we have this temple here, right? this is the Shivan Temple in Penang, or Datuk Raman. If all of you know, when the chariot goes from Pandas Temple to Penang, basically they usually have a stop at the Shivan Temple in Datuk Raman. And this is one of the recognized temples, also the Pandas Temple in Brickfields. And this view is actually from the inside. Kind of thing, and he paints mainly in the daylight. He likes the sun. So when the sun stops, or when something starts to rain or becomes cloudy, then he stops painting for the day. He rather he works in light and shade, kind of thing. That's the way he works there. So I think, for me, I just identify the temples, and then I let them to do the way they do. I do not interfere with the artistic license. This is actually recently my most favorite temple, the Sri Shakti Temple in Bukit Rotan. And some of you may already know where it is and have been there. I must say, very, very beautiful, very, very nice architecture, very nice sculpture. It's also a very good place to spend time spiritually. And I think it's a very, very well-run temple, Sri Shakti Temple in Bukit Rotan. If you have not been there, I advise you to take a trip. I hope more people go there because it's kind of out of the way, but still definitely worthwhile trip. Now, interesting, these are all oil and canvas you've seen so far. Alright? Now I'm moving to watercolors, works on watercolor. And this is Long Kelche, an artist in the 70s, very senior artist who trained in Paris and also in London and spent about 10 years in that region. Right? He's a surrealist by training, kind of thing. And so he has done these 3 paintings, these I included my collection. There are of course other works I have in my collection. But this tree I thought I'd show here. This is the temple, the Ganesha Temple in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So you can see the Vietnamese people there, the temple, kind of thing. Very, I thought this whole scene is a very interesting scene, kind of thing. This is Pandas Temple in Brickfields. All of you are very Scotland, Brickfields, everybody knows that kind of thing. But in this case, what the artist has done is taken the license to basically bring out the sculptures to show the concept, the way he does it, And when I saw it the first time, I was very good. I said, wow, I've never seen that kind of work that's there. And the same artist, Long Kelche, goes to Singapore and does this temple in South Bridge Road, the Mariamman Temple, where Thai person normally they start the Kavali area, with the Mariamman Temple, going on to Tenkro Temple. So this is his, and he's taken a very interesting perspective. Small corner of the temple. And I give him, that's his style. Right? Each artist is given their own style.
Okay, what do we have here?
These are works by Stephen Neville, who is the curator, is also the curator of the show here. Right? And he has been, initially I thought I got him to do more and more over the years. And I really like his work. So in the beginning it was like this kind of work, laying one color, then laying on to one blue, then slowly mix of colors, then the drip emerged. And the most recent one was this silk, this print, silk print kind of print that's out there. So Stephen is a very versatile artist, but in more recent years doing a lot of print making.
ஓகே, இந்த எக்ஸிபிஷனோட டீட்டெயில்ஸ் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம வந்து நம்மளோட டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷன்லேயும் கொடுத்துருக்குறோம். ஸோ இந்த கேலரி எங்கே இருக்குது, அதோட அட்ரஸ் எல்லாமே. ஸோ யாராருக்கு இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இருக்கோ நீங்கள் கண்டிப்பாக வந்து பார்க்கணும். இது வந்து கிடைக்காத காட்சிகள், ஏன்னா நிறைய ஆலயங்களோட ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ஸ் வந்து பண்ணியிருக்கிறாங்க. அதோட இந்த கோவில்களில் இருக்கிற ஸ்டாச்சூஸ் கூட எப்படி இருக்குது அப்படின்றது ஒரு சின்ன இது இங்கே இருக்குது. ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம வந்து மலேசியாவும் சிங்கப்பூரும் பார்த்தோம். இன்னும் மேலே வந்து அவங்க இன்னொரு மாடி இருக்குது. அந்த மாடியிலையும் வந்து நிறைய வெளிநாட்டு டெம்பிள்ஸ், overseas temples, right? Upstairs.
Yes, of course.
We have more.
Okay. Well, a total of 75 paintings
okay.
In this exhibition.
So நம்ம மேலேயும் போகலாம். ஸோ இது வந்து முதல் மாடியிலையும் வந்து இங்கே நிறைய கலெக்ஷன்ஸ் இருக்குது. ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம முதல்ல எப்பவுமே உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் தெரியும், மலேசியானா ஃபேமஸ் பத்து கேவ்ஸ். ஸோ வி ஹேவ் பத்து கேவ்ஸ் ஹியர்.
So of course, see, in this series downstairs, you saw works by Chong Han Fat. You also saw works by Peter Liu, and then one work by Li Wing Fat, and Li Wing Fat is walking up here, and then also Long Kelche. So above here, we have artists Mahmoud Jantan, Victor Chin, Chantiran, Lee Wing Fat, and Jagannathan. So he works by 5 different artists in this. If you go around the room, yeah.
Okay. So what we have
And
here?
there's Jagannathan there.
Oh, okay.
Right, so you come out here, you go around. So let me explain to you what is interesting here was this is Mahmoud Jantan, right? And this is his style of work. In fact, the moment anybody sees works like this, is very characteristically they can identify, oh, this is Mahmoud Jantan. His style of painting what, and what he has done, he has taken this Batu Caves, this painting, he made this painting, watercolor painting of Batu Caves. Then 2 paintings in Bali, in Indonesia, one in Bali and one in Jalan. This is the Tanah Lot, very famous temple in Bali. And this is Jalan. Yeah. Then the Lakshmi Narayan temple. The Lakshmi Narayan temple is the temple I go to. Right? So of course, I thought it's good to have one North Indian temple, one South Indian temple. To the extent, if you see there, you have a North Indian temple here, the Lakshmi Narayan temple in Kasikale, and you got Batu Caves there. Right? So then at the same time, for Victor Chin here, a very famous established artist who had been doing buildings from the mid-70s, I think, in the early 80s, right? But he never put colours into his works at that time. It was mainly drawings kind of thing. But here was when full colour came into bloom for him. And this is the Lakshmi Narayan temple. In fact, what you see here, in fact, there was a wall, there is a wall here. He has decided to remove the wall for us to be able to see what's inside. That's what artists do. If it's a photograph, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know? And this, of course, a very famous Ganesha Temple in Pudu. Pudumalai. Alright, we all go there, a lot of people go there. Very famous. I like the way, the colours, the choice of, so it's like somebody described it as Narnia style, kind of taking you into a dreamland kind of thing, kind of colours. This is the Pandas Temple in full bloom. Very, wow, look, I really like his works. And this, of course, is Batu Caves, the Ganesha Temple. Of course, now in the recent years they expanded the thing. And that's your steps going up to the Kovil Temple on top. Now, what is interesting is, when we decided, Chantiran, a very senior Malaysian Dr. etc., very established artist in Malaysia, in the Indian community. So he said, you don't have India, which is true. I had temples, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, Burma. I did not have India. So I said, can you do? He said, yeah, I go there all the time. So I said, please do. And I welcome his contribution to this effort here. Right? So this is our temple in South India. This is the Tanjai Kovil in India. Of course, this one, Madurai Meenakshi, everybody knows because of its 4 Raja Gautams that are there. That way. This is Mahabalipuram. So you want to get a good sculpture, like I have in my house, my garden, like Ganesha sculpture, go to Mahabalipuram. Beautiful sculptures. In fact, a lot of the temples in this country, the deities, the sculptures are made by artists from sculptors from Mahabalipuram. Then this is Entamizh, and finally this is Chidambaram.
These are from India.
South India.
Oh,
South India. That's why you see the architecture very different. And also you must remember that these temples are temples which were built 1,000 years ago. They're not new, kind of thing. So whereas some of the new temples are new, but this is built about 1,000 years ago.
Okay. What
this one here now is a very interesting hanging, I would say, we call it a hanging here. Alright? These are works by Lee Wing Fat, who is the main artist in this. Right? What had happened was once I finished Malaysia and Singapore and my coffee table book was launched, my son said, why don't we expand this to Southeast Asia? So what I used to do was basically, I talked to Lee Wing Fat because many artists had suggested he was the best among the group. Alright? And I told him, okay, can you go to Burma? Right? So my wife and I went to Burma, to Rangoon, saw the temples there, then we sent him to Burma for a few days, 4 days, 3 nights kind of thing, right, to do the temples in Burma. Then we went to Bangkok, again, we stayed, identified the temples, came back, told him, send him to Bangkok. Same with Cambodia, same with Indonesia. In that way, this thing went on. England, I wanted him to go, but he said he could not for personal reasons. So here we have temples of 8 countries. They're basically paintings of temples in 8 countries. Let me start with this. Right. This is of course Tapong in Cambodia, in the Angkor Wat area, right? This is in Bagan, and it's also in the Angkor Wat area, right? See, so here we have Cambodia. Then we have this temple, right? The Durga Temple in Rangoon. See, the temples are very old, and I think you can see the architecture very different. Okay, this is the Perumal Temple in Rangoon, and of course the Perumal, all you need to see is red and white lines, and you can know it's straight away identified as a Perumal Temple. This is a Kali Temple in Rangoon. Very busy street, I must say, very busy street. Of course, that is not captured in this image, but the idea is he was trying to capture the beauty of this building. See, for me, temples are very beautiful places. Yes, we go in there, do our prayers, and we go out. But there are a lot of temple sculptures outside, and I think it's worthwhile to spend a bit of time, not only doing our prayers there, but to see the beauty of these temples that is out there. And then I think that appreciation, this whole effort actually is part of that, to get the Malaysian public, especially the Indians who go to these temples, and also the others, to appreciate the beauty of these temples. Okay? So this is now a relatively new temple in Bangkok, the Shiva Temple. This is the Hanuman Temple in Rangoon, and this is the Kali Temple in Rangoon. In Thailand, this is the oldest Hindu temple. I mean, of course, when I say oldest, there are other Hindu temples which are 7th century, 10th century, that kind of thing. But this is in the 1880s, the Mariamman Temple, this is the Thai flag here. Right? You can see the clear Raja Bhogan there. Then we go back to Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, right? The Sungamaliam Temple. Now, these are, so you can see the architecture, very different, kind of thing. Slowly you realize that Vietnam, this is Vietnam. Right? So very different, much more simpler. Because they have gone there, the community is much smaller, right? Expanded. But now, Bali, of course, very characteristic Balinese temple style, kind of thing. When we went to England, alright, my wife and I, we did a yatra, we call it a yatra pilgrimage, kind of thing, mainly to capture the temples. And we visited 12 temples, starting from Liverpool, Manchester, Bradford, Leeds, Wellingborough, coming down to London, then going to Coventry, Leicester, Birmingham, that kind of thing, the whole, right? We captured, images of 12 temples, and that was the artist did the painting. But for each of these artists, each of the countries, we actually only showing 4. There are more works. This is a temple, the Swami Narayan Temple, very famous temple in Neasden, UK, London, right? Prince Charles has been there. This is a relatively newer temple. Also, it's quite close to the Neasden Temple in Wembley. The Sanatan Hindu Mandir, they call it, in Wembley area.
This all from England, sir?
In England. These are temples in England. The Swami Narayan Temple, this is the Lakshmi Narayan Sanatan Hindu Mandir, Lakshmi Narayan, and this is the Sri Venkateswar Temple, Balaji. This is a very interesting temple. They have got this big piece of land, and they have actually captured the whole essence of Tirupati. And then the main deity, Balaji there, I think it's also a good place for any Indian, any Hindu who would like to do a pilgrimage to India. I think this temple, each of them are kind of stops. So in a way, this is my journey. I welcome people to go on their own journey and explore. Because there are more temples. This is not the new ones. This is the Lakshmi Narayan Temple, or what's called the Dev Mandir in Bangkok. This is Bali, and this is Vishnu Mandir in
Bangkok.
So this is Bangkok, the Dev Mandir.
In between we have a Bali.
This is Bali, It's very different, The moment you see this temple, after a while when you capture, you can see the way they are, the color. Here, this is Mariamman Temple in Singapore, South Bridge Road, like what you saw.
Just now we saw the different type of painting, right?
Okay. All these are oil on canvas.
Okay.
That is watercolors. That one is oil on canvas also. This is all oil on canvas. Right? So here, very interesting, we have it hung like that. This is the Mahavarian Temple. Every year, Thaipusam, Kavadis will go from here. And the chariot will go from here to the Tank Road Temple. Just like what we have in KL, from Petaling Street, to HSB, Mariamman Temple to Batu. Same journey that we do there. Right?
Okay, up there?
Up there, also one of my very interesting find, since you also talked about Draupadi Amman.
Yeah.
This is a very, very beautiful temple, and they had a Mahakumbha Abhishekam again in February this year. After 12 years, I must say the committee has done a great job. And they expanded the temple, very, very beautiful, must place to visit, to do your prayers. I encourage Draupadi Amman, because this is the only temple, at one time they say, that had 4 Raja Gopurams. But the entrances, 1 or 2 were closed earlier, but I think now they kind of managed to open up the entrances, more entrances that are there.
இது வந்து திரௌபதி அம்மன் ஆலயம், மலேசியாவில் இருக்கிற ஒன் ஆஃப் த திரௌபதி அம்மன் கோயில். இது வந்து மலாக்காவில் இருக்குது. ஓகே, இங்கே வந்து நம்ம வந்து அதோட பெயிண்டிங் தான் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம். அஃப்கோர்ஸ் திஸ் ஒன் சிங்கப்பூர். ஓகே சார், we go to the next.
This is Bali.
Okay.
Right? And see the way here, this is the pole of the kind of thing, the lake there, in Bali. And this is Ganesha Temple.
இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம வந்து அதிகமான பாலி கோயில்கள் வந்து இப்பயே பார்த்தப்போ அந்த நிறைய வந்து பார்த்துருப்போம். ஏன்னா பாலி வந்து முக்கால்வாசி வந்து அங்கே வந்து இந்து மதத்தினர் வந்து நிறைய இருந்தாங்க. உங்களுக்கெல்லாம் தெரியும், இந்த ராஜராஜ சோழன், ராஜேந்திர சோழன் வந்து அவங்க வந்து ட்ராவல் பண்ணப்பே வந்து பாலியில் வந்து நிறைய கோயில்கள் வந்து அவங்க நிறுவியிருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அதில் வந்து இங்கே வந்து நம்ம எக்ஸிபிஷன்லேயும் வந்து இப்போ பார்த்திங்கனாலே வந்து ஒரு நினைக்கிற ஒரு 5-6 பெயிண்டிங் வந்து நம்ம பாலியோட சம்மந்தப்பட்டதை பார்த்துருக்கோம். Okay.
This Ganesha Temple.
Okay.
I think everybody knows Ganesha Temple. Anybody in KL would regularly go there. Also, I mean, I like to go. I go there once in a while myself, and I must say, very well captured by the artist.
இது அந்த கோட்டுமலை.
கோட்டுமலை.
ஓகே, மலேசியாவில் வந்து ரொம்ப ஃபேமஸான கேரள இருக்கக்கூடிய கோட்டுமலை பிள்ளையார் கோயில் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ அந்த கோயிலோட ஒரு படம் தான் இது. ஓகே.
This is Angkor.
ஓகே, இங்கே வந்து நம்ம அங்கோர்.
This is a temple they put in Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam. This is also Vietnam. So you see the temples in Vietnam much simpler, you know. Community is smaller, so they cannot build temples like, you know, Malaysia and other places in the world.
ஸோ வியட்நாம் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் வந்து அங்கேயும் நிறைய ஆலயங்கள் இருக்குது. ஆனால் வந்து அங்கே வந்து இந்த ராஜகோபுரம் வந்து கொஞ்சம் சிறிய அளவில் இருக்கும். மலேசியா மாதிரி வந்து பெரிய பெரிய கோபுரங்களோ இல்லை இந்தியா மாதிரி வந்து வானவந்த கோபுரங்கள் இருக்காது. பட் இருந்தாலும் அங்கேயும் வந்து இருக்கிற கோயில்கள் தான் வந்து இப்போ நீங்கள் பார்த்துட்ருக்கீங்க. ஓகே.
What is interesting is, here we have now temples you have seen already, Angkor, you have seen Singapore, you have seen that. Now this is a very nice temple, Perumal Temple now, on Serangoon Road. So on Serangoon Road there are 3 temples. For those who have been there, we are calling it temples and all that. This is the Perumal Temple there.
இது வந்து சிங்கப்பூர்.
And you can see the flags at the back, you know, the kind of thing. And the artist is able to capture that.
ஸோ இதெல்லாம் வந்து நீங்கள் முழுமையாக ரசிக்கணும். கண்டிப்பாக வந்து ArtVoice Gallery செந்தூல் 28 ஜலன் ஹிலிர் கோயில் ஹிலிர் அந்த ரோட்டில் இருக்கிற இந்த ArtVoice Galleryயில் வந்தீங்கன்னா இன்னும் நீங்கள் வந்து கிளியராக பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ நான் வந்து கொஞ்சம் உங்களுக்காக காட்டுறேன். என்னடா அது முழுசாக காட்ட மாட்டாங்களே அப்படின்னு நினைக்காதீங்க. ஏன்னா நீங்கள் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா உங்களோட ஃபீல் வந்து டோட்டலாகவே டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டாக இருக்கும் அப்படின்றதுனால தான்.
This is Batu Caves, of course, William Temple in Batu Caves, going up the stairs, everybody, and I must say, they have done a beautiful, I've seen Batu Caves for many years now. I'm 71, right, and I think I've been going to Batu Caves since the 60s or 70s maybe, you know, kind of thing. And I'm very impressed by the expansion and by the number of new temples that have been built around the cave temple. Originally there was the main cave temple, then you have the Ganesha coming in the temple. Now they have one Balaji kind of thing, they have Vishnu, then they have Hanuman temple, they have the Nagara temple. And I must congratulate the committees of these temples, you know, for doing this kind of work, expanding that. And it's become a very big tourist place. Every day you can go out, see many buses, many people coming in. A favorite tourist place, one of the favorite tourist places in the country. So it's not only Hindus going in to pray, but people of all religions coming in there. This is my Lakshmi Narayan temple. Of course, if now you go there, you won't see all these trees. This was done in 2007, I think, you know, right? You don't see the trees anymore. Apartments, condominiums have come up right next to this. This is the Lakshmi Narayan which you also saw also.
I went there before in my age, I think around 17, 18. Okay. for a family wedding.
Okay.
But that was the time. I think they still have the trees, but yes. Nowadays all fully with walls, yes. Right?
In fact, the Lakshmi Narayan Temple had a major expansion done, and has just had prayers for that major the expansion. There was a new community hall there, for wedding, kind of thing, wedding. Very beautiful. We have a large car park, and we also have a meditation hall there now. That's a new thing that's been added, a wedding hall and a meditation hall in the Kashmiri Temple. And I think you go in the meditation place, nice, sit down, you like the bells, all that kind of thing. I think, of course, this is the temple that I go to. This is Angkor. This is very interesting. This is Sengkang in Singapore. You would see that normally I would have to have one single Raja Gopuram and all that kind of thing for the entrance itself. But this is like somebody will describe this as a hybrid North Indian, South Indian kind of, very.
It's more like like Malaysian, Chinese.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So they have that influence, and this is in the suburbs in Singapore. Whereas the ones in Serangoon Road are much more traditional temples.
This is a Murugan temple, is it?
No, it's a
yeah,
Velmurugan.
Yeah, Velmurugan. Yeah, Murugan temple, yes.
Also Muniswar inside there. Yeah. Then of course everybody in KL, Mahamariman temple, Taipusam, chariot goes from there to Batu Caves.
The famous
Mahamariman temple. I like, you see the way he has captured,
Yeah.
I really.
It's not only the structures. I think the outside.
Yes.
You see the
flower
small,
sellers, the flower sellers,
sellers,
the flower sellers sitting
small
there.
vendors at shops, and also the small statues that they have.
Correct. See, it's not easy to capture this. So what happened? I must pay my respect to Lee Wing Fat and thank him for this effort, because he was my main artist. Very nice person. He would go to the temple, he will go in and do his own prayers first, and then he will start taking photographs or doing some sketches. So normally he would do some sketches, do some watercolor work, but then I also wanted him to do oils for these temples, because he captures them. This is the last temple in this series of oil and canvas. This is the Murugan Temple in Hill Street, in London, central London. It's in Lena Park in London, a Murugan Temple. When we went there, it was like 12 o'clock, full.
People.
Prayers going on in different corners of the temple. And I and my wife were very surprised that, wow, basically, I think these are like among the fewer Northern Indian, South Indian temples in the UK, because most of the new temples in the UK I noticed was North Indian, but this was among the fewer, the Balaji one, and the Murugan Temple. Of course, the Murugan Temple is much older than the Balaji Temple just now.
Okay.
This last one I have a video here, especially.
Okay.
These works were done by my dear friend who passed away last year, Jagannathan, a very good artist. In fact, for my first part of this project, which involved 10 artists, there were 9 Chinese, and he was the only Indian artist. And the reason I asked him to do this was because I was very sure that he was also being very spiritual nature, will be able to capture the essence of the sculptures. And so here, this is a wedding of Shiva, Parvati, in a temple in Guntung, in Ipoh. Alright? Here, of course, this is Kamachi Amman Temple in Penang, statue outside, because on the Dato Raman main road, that kind of thing. Near the Shivan Temple, it's very near the Shivan Temple that's out there. Right? For him to be able to capture Kamachi Amman. And this work, in these two works, this work outside the Veerapallaman Temple in Singapore, Marjani Master, alright? Wow! But he captured these are pen and ink works in very detailed kind of thing. Able to do that. And this, of course, you go to Batu Caves, you'll see this, the Shiv family. Shiv family is Shiva, Parvati, Ganesha, and Murugan. Okay, so that is my journey. This is just 175, 414 works, 1/5 of my collection, maybe less than that. And then the collection I've been putting together since 2004. It's been 18 years. And now I think, like I was telling the opening, the day of the launch of the exhibition, I think this will be my final exhibition, because for me, managing such an important collection is no more easy. As I'm slowly getting to my own retirement kind of thing, I think I need to find somebody to kind of take over this collection, individual, organization, agency, whatever, and to manage, because 414 works, not easy to manage. At the moment, I store most of my works in an office space in Kuala, Kerala, and that's where it is. Rani?
Okay.
How
Actually, I'm very, very impressed with all the works here. So actually, kind of speechless and
Yeah.
okay.
See, for me, I had been collecting art since 1991. When I collected works by Malaysian artists and also other artists from abroad. But I never ever thought of putting together a collection of Hindu temples. Then in 1998 to 2004, I sat on the board of trustees of the National Art Gallery. I also noticed there were not many temples, paintings of temples, or even when I went to go and ask artists, have you done painting of Hindu temple? No. Then I asked, have you done? He said, I've done church, I have done mosque, and I have done other mosques, churches, Chinese temple, but I've never done temples. Right? So I said, why? He said very clearly, right? The Hindus, Indians don't collect. That was his. He said, as an artist, we have to survive. Indians don't collect, and so I never painted. He did not have. He said, I've done churches and temples for a long time, but because Indians don't collect, they didn't do Indian temples. Hindu temples.
So we go more on the interview part. We go on the interview part.
Okay.
Can actually, just now you already explained to us a lot of things.
I'm just wondering whether the interview part we're going to do later.
A very short one.
Right, okay, all right.
Because already done almost all the things that we have. When we show around, we have how you got this interest and of course with your wife and everything.
I must thank you for doing this, Rani. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, just a few questions only. So, is there any plans that you want this to be an education part? You want to give it to an art department of universities or colleges?
Yeah, I must be honest. I cannot give it. The amount of money that has been spent on mine, I definitely need some of that. I need the works, the money to plan for my retirement. So I cannot really donate it. In that way. But the using of the images should not be a problem, that kind of thing. For educational purposes or whatever it is, that is doable. Yeah, but I'm looking for somebody who will in fact make this collection grow. I have done 9 temples, 9 countries. The Hindu diaspora or the Indian diaspora is much bigger. Yeah, I visited the temples in Mauritius, I visited the temples in Paris, I visited the temples in Norway. But I think whoever is taking this over, I hope he will be able to be continuing this journey and also continue to exhibit it, because I've been doing it only every 3 years, and I wish that whoever takes over this collection does that.
Okay. Besides Malaysia, sir, you have any plans to exhibit it in overseas, internationally, like India and everything? I
would love to. I have thought about it, but I never had the means. I must be honest, I never had the financial means to take it over. And this collection was put together with my own money. I did not approach anybody for financial support. However, I must say, there's a coffee table book that was launched at the National Art Gallery in 2008. The publisher is Mr. Rajatore Singham, a very, very nice person. Very, very nice person. His company Blue Toffee agreed to publish in Singapore, and we launched it at the National Art Gallery in a very nice ceremony that was held. Temple of Fine Arts did a performance for the ceremony, hosted the dinner was arranged by them. We had a very nice, and I remember that the dance involved like a temple scene, somebody coming throwing flowers, the priest coming in throwing kind of thing. I must acknowledge the support given by Mr. Rajatore Singham and Blue Toffee. Yeah.
Okay, so last question, sir. Along this way, you've been traveling so many places and things like that. So you sure have people that you want to remember for this moment. So
again.
Long journey, right? So you sure have people that you want to remember.
People.
Yes.
First, of course, my wife. See, my wife has been my main, but I use the word driver because in her case, she was literally the driver. That means to say, she used to drive us. Take the car, she sits down the driver's seat, I'll sit down next to her, and we have the artist at the back. So she not only was pushing me or getting me involved in this, but also the driver, and we went to Arau. Imagine now, Arau, Kanga, All-Star, then coming into Perak, and then Sungai Petani, then coming into Perak, going to Pangkor. So it was like a journey, Of course, we started off in KL, Klang, Port Klang, then we're going on into Negeri Sembilan, kind of thing. So first I must acknowledge alright. In summary, I always say this, I must thank the Almighty. I must thank the Almighty for giving me the inspiration to do this. I also must thank my parents who gave me my Hindu background and got me in my own spiritual journey. Then 3 groups of people that we should never ever forget. One is the Sthapati, who build these temples. Because if they do not build the temples, there won't be temples. 2 are the management committees of these temples who run these temples. Because maintaining a temple is not easy. I must acknowledge their effort too. And third, of course, my artists who went round. There are 16 artists in this project, in this journey of mine, and I must acknowledge the 16 artists. In particular, Lee Weng Fat, Stephen Madden, who has also helped me curate, and also I must say, like a framer like Dennis, who helped to transport my works. These are people, each one of course contributed their own to this effort.
How the temple cooperate with you, sir? Actually,
I had no problem. In fact, like I told you, I had difficulty. I did not want to impose on anybody, so I don't even bother to write a letter saying. I did, however, in the beginning prepared a list of temples, went to the Malaysian Hindu Sangam and said, these are temples I want to do. Then they said, can you add a few more, like the one in Karumariman Temple in Seberang Perai, the one in Bagan Datuk Rama Temple. They said, can you add a few more? I said, no problem, and we added them. And then when the text, everything was ready, I also sent it to them just to make sure the book, there's no questions about it. That was there. But I did not, when I went to the temple, there was no problem at all. Because basically we went outside, do our prayers, we take photographs, come back and do.
Okay. How about this exhibition and the previous exhibition? How the people show interest?
I'm okay. I would say as expected, right? The interest of among the Indians in art is still very little. I must be honest, and this is not only this Hindu temple art, but other art too. But overall, I am happy with the response. That is to say, the people who I had asked to come, or I had invited them, knowing that they would be interested in the subject, they came. They have turned up. Yes, and I also have my own friends, art collector friends, who also come. And these are people of other races too.
Okay, so this gallery will be from 27th.
This exhibition this gallery is always there.
Yeah.
But this exhibition started on 27th May, going on until 17th June. Please come. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rani. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, sir.